I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
I'm Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under. Well, working on the album, the new album Undead, it was just a different situation. I worked with Rob Arnold on this one as a main writing partner, so that definitely spurred a lot of different thoughts of creativity for this album. So that was the main point. That was the main difference, was working with a different writer and stuff on this one. No, I mean, it hasn't. This is kind of the first album where we've worked in that way, where we've had different members, different songwriters, and different live performing members. So it's a little bit different for us, but I'm enjoying it. And what I'm really doing is I've got all the solid guys in the band. There's the touring lineup, and really, in the next album or two, you'll kind of see their songwriting creep into 6 Feet Under, and I really like these guys in the band now that I'm touring with, so it's a lot of fun. Oh, I've always kind of been open to other people's opinions. I never have been one to really close anyone off as far as ideas go, because I think everyone that comes into this band, really, they've had their own idea of what the music means to them, and that's what's interesting to me. Is there's a dynamicness to 6 Feet Under's music. I think that more than a lot of other death metal bands, there's a lot of parts that really grab you, and I think that the guys that I have in the band kind of know that, and they feel that vibe, and they work with that, and whether they can play beyond what our style is, they work within those realms and make it the best and the most exciting for themselves and for the fans out there. So that's what I like. I mean, I feel like the guys that are in the band really feel what the music's about, what this band's about. Yeah, I think that might be the biggest misconception about where I come up with my lyrics, is from just watching movies and reading books or something. I mean, a lot of people ask me that, where I get my inspiration from, and it's mostly just through the music that I'm presented with, because I usually write lyrics to a song, music-wise, and go from there, and I really gain my inspiration from where the music leads me, and that kind of dictates the storyline and the main thoughts about the song itself. Well, Dusty Peterson did the artwork for the cover for Undead, and he really based his art for the album cover around really my lyrics and song titles, and just some things that I portrayed to him subtly, and in his face when I was talking to him. So what I wanted to kind of get across, and I think really the main thought, the main word was insanity, and I think that's what he titled that cover, was Insane or Insanity, because it's just it goes into that whole thing, and the idea of death and possession of sorts. Some would say that a zombie, a dead body that rises from the grave, is possessed by a netherworldly power in some way, and that's kind of what the six means to me and how he incorporated the six and more of a spiral into the unknown, you know, and sort of you know, he really showed the pain behind the lyrics in this one. I really like the album cover. Yeah, that's a great question, man. Metal Blade has been my family for, you know, half of my life now. I've been with Metal Blade Records for half of my life, and you know, that's a big thing, man. It's kind of like, you know, everyone kind of, you know, you hear the idea of fate or things being planned out for you, and I really feel that way. Why I'm with Metal Blade, because when I was a kid, that's all I ever bought was releases that Brian put out on Metal Blade, and I searched out that stuff because back in the old days, you didn't even have access to magazines that would show you, you know, what bands were good or give you ratings or something like that. It was so underground back in 1983 and 84 that you had nothing to gauge anything by. So the thing I gauged things on, you know, if something was good, it was on Metal Blade Records. So if I was at a record store looking at two cassettes, like, you know, this one or this one, if I turned it around and it said Brian Slagle or Metal Blade Records, that's what I bought. And, you know, over the years, being on Metal Blade Records, it's just been kind of a thing to me. Like, it just seems too strange that that was really my path. And, you know, I've just been really lucky that they've always stood behind me, and they've been so kind to me and generous, and have always had my back no matter what happened, because it's been a long, tumultuous road, as they say. But we've gotten through it. We've walked down that path together, and I wouldn't want to be with anyone else but those guys. They're so good to me. Yeah, I've always looked fondly on my my beginnings of where I come from, you know, with Cannibal Corpse, and, you know, the early metal scene in Buffalo, actually, where we started. And yeah, I mean, I'm more proud of being, you know, the original vocalist and lyricist for Cannibal Corpse than anything I've done. Those songs are the closest to my heart, you know. So, you know, I'm lucky now that I have the band behind me that are talented enough to be able to play those songs and to let me explore those old, you know, feelings again, and be able to kind of let the fans now, you know, experience them in a different way that they haven't been able to experience those songs. So I enjoy, you know, all the accolades and all that stuff. To me, it's, you know, I don't run from it. I embrace it for sure. Yeah, Undead's been out for about a month now. We've had a great run, you know, came out on this tour, 18 Nights of Blood, you know, pretty much a couple weeks after the release. And the fans have just been awesome on this tour. It's kind of been you know, a little unsuspected that we've you know, had such a great, consistent, you know, tour on this one, and it's really, it's a relief, kind of, you know. So yeah, we're just gonna stay on the road. We've got some European dates to do in August, some festival dates, and another U.S. tour I'm trying to plan for around Halloween, and some other stuff around the world. Barge to Hell, going from Miami to the Bahamas. That's a big thing for us. We've never been, you know, playing death metal on the high seas, so you know, ahoy.